There were things that transpired between the sons of Noah getting off the ark and the migration of civilization, the dividing of the lands among the sons of Noah. There were things that took place before Shem ever came into being, before Abraham, before Isaac, before Jacob, and the 12 tribes of Israel. The Afro-Asiatic Hebrews were of Afro-Asiatic descent. Shemitic. The Shemitic language is Afro-Asiatic. Interesting. Very interesting. Very interesting indeed. They're finding these things in America, as they've called America the New World. They found these almanac heads in America, and a lot of statues, a lot of stone art, stone carving, stone statues that date hundreds of years before Christ here in America. Yet the scriptures don't talk about America. The scriptures that we were given, the King James Bible, the infallible Word of God, as if we can contain the Most High in one book, as if these people that gave us the Bible, that they compiled and canonized, didn't have access to our scrolls in which they compiled the scriptures from. They compiled the Bible from our scrolls. The book burnings. Come to find out, only 3 books survived the book burnings here in America. Burn it all is all evil. Man, the things that the Most High is allowing me to understand now, or understand, it's mind-blowing and it's amazing. What if we're not from Africa? What if we're really not African? What if there was some truth to that? Yeah, we went over to Africa. I don't doubt that they put us in Africa, in sub-Saharan Africa, and on the West Banks and St. Thomas and all them places where they got the slave ports. I don't doubt that they put our people over there. When you go back into ancient history, we were everywhere. We were in Spain. We were in Portugal. There were decrees made to expedite us out. And we were put in Africa. But now more pieces to the puzzle has been appearing. I always wonder, how come America is not in the Bible? How come the Bible doesn't talk about America as it talks about all the other places, all the other continents? It mentions, Africa. There's been so much that's been hidden from us as a people. How the scriptures declared in Psalms 83, how the nations would make a tumult And they'll conspire together to hide who we are, so that the name of Israel shall be no more. Because we were a strong, powerful people. Yet we were disobedient to the Most High. Our people didn't want to hear the prophets that he sent. Over and over and over and over and over. Isaiah prophesying, saying what the Most High told him to say. How long? Why are you bringing me these vain oblations? Why are you sacrificing my animals? Jeremiah, I never told your forefathers to do this thing when it comes to burnt offerings and sacrifices. I never told your forefathers to kill up my animals and offer them as a bloody sacrifice. No, I commanded you this, that you obey my law and that you walk uprightly before me and that you be obedient, and all will be well with you. But no, you hearken not. Come to find out, these almanac heads were the priests. Whether they were the priests of the Hebrews or not, I don't know that yet. But I'm finding this very interesting. Their features are like the Negro. And these things are hidden away. They're locked away in like secrecy. Why would they hide the fact that those almanac heads, the first one that was found, had braids, like cornrows, clear, evidently cornrows, like he had Negro hair. And now all of a sudden it's missing. They can't find it. They don't know where it's at. Well, this guy that went to go extra to go look for it, the guy that's doing his lecture that I'm watching right now, his name is Dr. Ivan Van Sertima. And the name of the documentary is called African Presence in Early America. It's very interesting to me. I love this type of stuff. And I wasn't open to America not being what I was always taught it was. I was shutting it down because of cognitive dissonance. It disagreed with my inner core belief that America is the new world. Is ingrained into us that Christopher Columbus discovered America. Oh yeah, well, there was Indians here, and then the Indians that they portray, the Native Americans that they portray to us, have straight hair, and many of them has been whited out. But they portray the straight haired ones that migrated from Siberia. They don't talk about the ones that were here before they infiltrated. They don't talk about the Negroes that were already here. And I was dismissing all of this information before. I didn't want to hear it. It was UBTV, the Smartest Beast in the Field series. I watched that, and though I disagreed with America being the promised land or Egypt or anything that we hadn't been told, and that I in accord believed all my life because it was what I was taught by people who I trusted. I went through history. I even took Oklahoma history because when I moved here, my mom moved us here, I was still in high school. I was just a freshman in high school when we moved here. So I went through all the Oklahoma history and all of that. And they told it from their point of view. They never talked about the black people that were here before. As a matter of fact, I didn't even learn about Black Wall Street, which is right here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I took Oklahoma history, and that was not in the history books for Oklahoma history. Can you imagine that? They hide all this information. They hide how we were a great civilization. They hide the great things that we did. Because they want to take credit for themselves. And they want to basically steal our identity. Steal our inventions. And take credit for it. So sick of this world. I'm 44 years old, and the Father chose to wake me up after my early 40s, 41, 42. Literally, like in 2017, my eyes started being awakening to so many things around me. And I started to make that real change in my life. That was the year that, like, I had that connection with the Most High. Where I felt His Spirit connect with mine and tell me, you're my child. And I've chosen you. And He stopped me dead in my tracks as I was trying to get a sex change in 2017. It was like my last attempt. My last attempt to try to get a gender reassigned surgery. I was trying to take hormones. And I went through Planned Parenthood. Because I was told just days prior that Planned Parenthood had a based on your income program going on for transgenders. And that because I didn't have any income, they would work with me. Well, I call them up. And I try to make an appointment. And they were like, oh, I'm so sorry, we stopped doing that just about a week ago. We just stopped doing that about a week ago. And I'm just like, wow. And as I was in the process of being pissed off and just like, why, that was like my third or fourth attempt to try to reach out to, based on your income or some kind of assistance with starting transformation. And it seemed like every single time I tried, the door was slammed in my face. Well, in 2017, the Most High was like, I created you how I created you. Like all of a sudden, that was the thought that was in my head. People don't understand that the Most High lives within us. And it's like an inner voice that you hear. And I know it wasn't me. Because at the time I was angry. I was mad. And I didn't want to go through the rest of my life in a female body. I've always felt that I've always felt that I fit better as a male, because I never fit in this society. I never fit into this society as how they say a female should be. and I always get ridiculed and or looked down upon, stigmatized, all these different things because I was different than the norm. I was different than how normal girls are. You know, like I wasn't interested in the things that most girls are interested in. I didn't move in different ways like most girls move in. So I ain't never fit in. I tried to do things that I thought that most girls like to do, like sex. I jumped head first into that with guys, but I never liked it. I never liked it with a guy because it felt weird. It hurt. It felt weird. It was. I felt like they didn't care, and it just was like an experience of wham bam thank you ma'am type deal. And every single time it just seemed like, you know, I wanted to be them. I wanted to be them, and like it just seemed weird to me to be the receiver when I felt like I should be like them. But that's neither here nor there. I was just in my head, and I'm like, you know, I never been like how this society declares how females are supposed to be. And even when I was a young child, my grandmother would always get on to my case because she would say that I act like a little boy. I ran with the boys. I did what boys did. I liked the toys that boys liked. I never liked Barbie dolls. I didn't like doll houses. Like, that wasn't my thing. I liked Tonka trucks, and I liked the hot rods, the train tracks. I liked all of those. The ones, you know, the freaking the drones. Even though I didn't really have, there were no drones. There was like, I forget, like the RV navigator type toys where you like navigate it in handheld and you can drive I like toys like that. I liked it freaking He-Man. I liked it, you know, Ninja Turtles. Like I like what the guys liked. And so like I got ridiculed a lot, and I got called a dyke. So many times I got called a dyke before I ever did anything with another female. Like I was called a dyke so many times. I was called a lesbian and a he-she and all of these things. Like, before I ever even engaged into any of that, it was just my characteristics and just, you know, how I carried myself. I was always strong too. Like, for some reason, like, I was always extra strong. So I played tug of war, you know, it'd be me against like 4 or 5 guys, and I would literally win. Just me. It was so crazy. I had so much freaking strength. The last time I think I was like 19 or 20, 21, something around in there. I was hanging out with my white homeboys, Jason. Well, I was hanging out with my white homeboy, Jason, and he had his brother there, and his brother had his friends, and all of them were there. And for some reason, they asked me to try the weight, this weightlifting thing. It was a press down bar, and I don't know how much weight. I don't remember how much weight they had on it, but they were like, "Here, try to press this down." And I pressed it down. It literally was like nothing. It felt like there was hardly no weight on it whatsoever. It was so easy, and I just kept doing it. And their eyes were so big. These white boys, they were just like amazed. They were standing there like in awe, and I'm sitting here just like pressing it like it's nothing. And they were like, okay, 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 you can stop, you can stop. And they were just like, damn, like, but it was nothing to me. And I'm like, that's not even heavy. Like, what? Anyway, I'm rambling now. That's just me though. And it's like, it's these things that be on my mind. It's like, I don't really want to put this out. I don't really want people to know that, hey, you were born female. So now, the moment I tell somebody that, it's like these stigmas that's automatically attached to being born female. Like, now all of a sudden I can't be who I really am. I can't be me. Like a lot of my posts and things, if people knew I was born female, they would attack me and be like, well, you supposed to remain silent. They will try to put these barriers and boundaries on me, and these stigmas, like act like I just deliberately deceive people, when it wasn't like that at all. It's just, I'm trying to avoid stigmas. I'm trying to avoid you and your preconceived ideas about me based upon my gender. If you're gonna have preconceived ideas about me, I'd rather you perceive your ideas with the persona of me being male than female, because that's more closer to my personality and what I resemble and how I carry myself than as a female. And I'm sorry that may bother some people. It's like, some people will have a problem with the fact that I am connected to the Most High. I know I hear the voice of the Most High, how basically he brought back to my memory all the times that he was there in my life. When that experience in 2017, my revelation, my awakening to the Most High, and how many times he was literally there when I wasn't even thinking about him. How he just flashed that before my eyes momentarily. All happened within a split second, but it seemed like eternity. Told me that he chosen me. And I went through so many changes from 2017 to now, 2021. At that time when he told me that, I was still eating pork. I was eating shrimp. I was eating all kinds of abominations. And had no knowledge that it was wrong. Had no knowledge that it was against him. I was concerned about the things that I said about transgenderism and how, the Most High made Adam and Eve and he told them to populate and reproduce, and how, it was my mom and dad that created my gender, like not knowing that was blasphemous against the Most High, because he creates us, we're first with him before he ever sends our spirit to this earth. He forms us in the womb of our mothers, and so that was blasphemous for me to say that, and he let me know that, and I had to repent for a lot of things that I thought, a lot of things that I said. And now I'm at the point to where I really feel like I want to just be real to the world. I just want to be who I am, love me or hate me, like me, accept me, or don't, move on. This is who I am. And if you can't hear the words that the Most High say, through me, then that's on you. But he who is of the Most High speaketh the words of the Most High. Or he who the Most High sends speaketh the words of the Most High, and he who is of the Most High heareth the words of the Most High, and they hearken. So it is what it is. I know I've gotten to the point to where I'm trying dearly to not engage in any kind of sexual activity, because I know that that's against him. And any time that I have engaged in that, that's pretty much a disconnection from him. Like, I feel that disconnection automatically. If I'm on SL and I'm engaged in different things that I know that I shouldn't be engaged in, even still yet, I can still speak his words and have an effect. But that connection that I have to his spirit is severed, because I'm engaging in wickedness that I know is against him. So I have cut that out. I haven't been on SL in almost a month or more. And I don't even miss it. I don't want to be on there. I don't want to be on there because it's a temptation for me. It's a temptation. It's a distraction. And all of these things, like, it's heavy on my heart to seek the Most High fervently, to fast and pray, like, literally. And he has made my mind, my conscience, like a sponge, to where I'm soaking up so much knowledge, his knowledge, that's been hidden from the world. Because the world has lost the knowledge of the Most High. That's why it's in the state that it's in. That's why the world is in the state that it's in, because the knowledge of the Most High is no longer in the world. But he is raising up his people. He is raising up his chosen ones, those that he tapped, and I am one of them. Whether people want to accept it or not, regardless of the things that I have just said about how I've always been more masculine. I've always been more masculine than feminine. How I've always pretty much not been the typical female, the typical girly girl type. I've always been different, and I never fit in. The only time I ever so-called fit in, where they accepted me, was like a pack of white boys. The Father let me know not all white people are evil. The Father let me know throughout my whole life. See, life is destined. Life is destiny. Everything that I've went through in my life helped to prepare me for the next step. Helped me to grow. It helped me to understand different things and the way that my mind works, and how I've always been curious about a lot of different things. And then when given the opportunity, how I looked into these things. Well, step by step throughout my life, the Father allowed me to encounter a lot of white people that were good to me, while at the same time I also encountered racist white people. When I was really young, I went through physical abuse through a white teacher. I went through it, and I witnessed it as well when I went to a predominantly all-white school. So I understand both. I understand the racism, and at the same time I understand that not all white people are racist. And there's a lot of white boys. There are a lot of white people that are good. A lot of white people that are good. These white boys that I hung around, some of them probably meant me evil, like Jason, and I didn't realize that. See, I was very naive a lot too. I was very trusting a lot growing up. And when I was 19, 20 years old, hanging out with Jason. I met him when I was like 18, 19. We went through the whole World Changers thing together. We went to Victory Christian, a Victory Bible Institute or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it was. Some kind of Bible program that I went through. At the time, I was working at what the heck was the name of that grocery store? Now I can't even remember the name of that grocery store. But it was a Homeland. The name of the grocery store was Homeland. So I was working at Homeland as a sacker. I don't know if I did cashier. I might have. But that's irrelevant. But I was working at that store at the time when I was going to this Bible college type deal. And they had a breakout group called World Changers. And anyway, so I met Jason within this group. And he was the first one to get me high. The first one to get me high off weed. He introduced me to marijuana. Now, I had seen marijuana before when I was in high school. I seen it being sold. But the guy that was selling it wanted to sell me some in order for me to try it. And I wasn't trying to buy it because I didn't even know what it was. It was the first time I had ever seen it. So I'm like, I ain't going to buy it, I was just curious about it. Anyway, Jason was the first one to actually break out some and let me smoke. And we became good friends. He stood up for me. There was a situation that had went on with one of the girls in the group. Like, she flirted with me a little bit, and one thing led to another, and all of a sudden conversations started happening, and I get a call from someone else within the group, and I'm just a free-flowing person. You ask me questions and I'm going to be straightforward. I'm just going to answer it, like outright. I ain't got nothing to hide. So I'm getting asked, have you always felt like a guy? I'm like, yeah, and I'm just honest. I just was, being honest. I've always felt like, I didn't belong in a female body because I acted more like a guy, and this society says that I have to act this, and this type of way in order to be a female, and you act this, and this type of way to be a male. So obviously I lean more towards male. And so that was my reasoning and why I said, yeah, I've always felt like, I should have been born a guy. And just, she asked me questions about, whether I had girlfriends before. And, like just different personal questions, and I didn't hold anything back. I answered every single question honestly, and I can't remember every single detail of the whole conversation. But it come to find out, she was only asking those probing questions so that they could kick me out of the group. So the next time the group met, I was called into the office along with, a whole bunch of elders, and my mom was called in there, and, basically they were kicking me out of the group because they were saying that, I'm not exemplifying Christian behavior. And anyway, when Jason found out about it, he stood up and he took up for me, and he was like, let one of y'all stand up who was without sin, cast the first stone. Like, basically he was the one that stood in the gap, and he was like, cast the first stone if you've been without sin. How many people in here is righteous 100%? How can you sit here and condemn? And he called me by my preferred name. He called me Say. Like, he gave me respect. And ever since then, me and him really clicked. Like, we became best friends, and we hung out all the time. This was a white boy. He still has some underlying racist tendencies though, and that didn't come out until way later, which ruined our friendship. It was several years later that those things came up, when he seen that I was serious about wanting a sex change and actually wanting to become a black man. Like, he had some deep-seated hate against black men, and that came out, and it caused us to sever our friendship. But there were other white boys that I met, and it was a pack of them that I hung out with them on a regular basis. A good 7 to 8, 9, 10 of us, you know. Like, I fit in with them, but I stood out like a sore thumb to the outside world. Like, I walked down the street with them. We literally stopped traffic. You know, people would be staring at us like, what in the heck? Like, I stood out like a sore thumb, but I was accepted amongst them. But anyway, I'm tired of talking, so I'm gonna go ahead and end this. We need to stop judging one another, because that's one of the things that Yahusha came to do, is to set aside judgment for him. I never claimed to be perfect. I'm human, and though I ain't who people think that I should be, and I don't act how people think that I should act like, you know, I can only be me. And yeah, I've hid the fact of that I was born female. I feel like it really shouldn't matter what gender I was born, because I don't fit the category of this society. And I don't like having to identify my gender. It puts stigmas on me. It gives people preconceived ideas about me that's not true, and that bothers me. And I can't help that bothers me, but that bothers me. And that's my motivation for not telling anybody. That's my motivation for just trying to just live my life and be me, but at the same time hearing the voice of the Most High and wanting to obey. And I do feel like he's leading me to just be upfront and just be me. You know, don't have anything to hide. Like, that be hitting me hard when Dimitri be on there like, I ain't pulling no punches, you know, I ain't hiding nothing, I ain't hiding my hands. You know, I'm gonna be real about it. You know, I'll talk about being a crackhead. You know, I ain't never been a crackhead, but you know what? I've always felt like I don't fit in the gender that I was born. So, you know, I'm not perfect. So I'm going to end on that note. Shalom.